Last week we got all of the drywall hung in the upstairs except for the bathroom because we're waiting on a pressure test for the water lines, which ended up failing, and then we ended up having to fix it. So he's given us the green light on the green board in the bathroom.
Yeah, that bathroom took a lot longer than expected. You know, there's so many angles, and you know, probably got the rest of the drywall hung upstairs as long as it took to do that one bathroom.
The hardest part about any project is just getting started. And this project, our forever home, was especially a challenge. Not only is it bigger than anything that we've ever built, but it's built into a steep hillside, and whatever we do or don't do, we're gonna have to live with for the rest of our lives.
Green board is basically just moisture resistant drywall. And it's a really awkward little bathroom, but it's just for the kids and it has a lot of character. So I say less clean.
Yeah, there's a lot of angles in that bathroom. I'm assuming that somebody's going to hit their head either going to the restroom or getting out of the shower one day.
No, seriously, like I think I would freaking knock my head getting out of this thing.
Well, they think about it, the toilet's
Right here. So you're gonna be looking at this beam, you know?
Well, do you want to turn the toilet the other way?
That's the way we had it.
I know. They
Like
should have
this.
messed with it.
Then you
Oh.
could do face due south.
I know, but the reason I changed it is because you open up the door and there's like toilet front and center. That's all you see. We're not changing it right now.
I ain't changing it. I'm just saying, like, I could see myself, and then
All right.
right.
This isn't your bathroom.
This is the kids' bathroom, I get it, but I'm just saying.
I think we should just put some padding here so that you
Nice
can go on
padding.
it. Yes, it's good. But anyway, we got the drywall in the little bathroom done, but we haven't done the exterior walls because I had a little idea for a different wall treatment on all the exterior walls upstairs.
So we pre-ordered all this siding for our house, but then we ended up deciding we didn't want fiber cement on the exterior, we wanted more of a wood. And so we have all the siding, not really sure what to do with it, so I'm gonna talk to Jacob very carefully about possibly using it as wall planking on all the interior walls. See how that goes.
I wasn't really understanding because, I mean, usually siding goes on the outside of your house.
He didn't like the idea of using the fiber cement siding on the interior walls until I said the magic words, thermal mass.
I really think planked walls are beautiful. We've used them in our cabin, we've used them on 3 different tiny houses, and I really wanted to add that element because it's so much more interesting than just a flat drywalled wall. You get a lot more character and you get beautiful walls out of the deal. But I wasn't really sure how to integrate that into our house and still give us a wall surface that was fire resistant and carried some thermal mass. So I have to choose between the back side, which is kind of a basket weave texture, but it's still smooth, versus the front side, which is a pretty strong wood grain texture. I feel like this wood grain texture, so we'll have the lines here, I feel like this is too much in contrast to the beams and the tone groove ceiling, whereas this is more like an orange peel drywall finish. Before I approached Jacob about using the fiber cement on the walls, I got a test piece up and I just put it up on the wall, and I painted it white because I knew I wanted white and bright in here, and I love white, but it really looked terrible. And so I was like, oh, I just felt so deflated. He encouraged me to put up a couple more pieces and that weren't painted white, that were just the natural gray color, and I was really sold at that point. So it wasn't the actual material, it was the bright white contrasting with the saturated beams. I feel like I love the white, I love white, but we need to tone it down a little bit. So we got one room done and I was just really in love. By the time that one room was done, we decided to just go for it on all of the exterior walls. What we're gonna do is we're just trying to pick a height so it all works out from different levels. So in the great room, all the lines will match the lines in the loft area upstairs. So what we've done is just did some math, and now we figured out where we want to start. We're going to cut some blocks that are 2 3/4 inch high, put those at the bottom, put our first piece of planking up, and then just go up from there and keep it consistent over the entire house. It's the little things like this that that make a house really nice, and when you look at it, you're like, wow, that was done right. It takes a little bit more time, but it's worth it. It's going to save us a lot of time because we don't have to mud and tape anything, and they just tuck right behind the beams, so there's no ends, and it's basically just stick it up and then we'll trim out our windows and prime and paint it and you're done.
Fiber cement is definitely a learning curve when you're working with it because it's not that easy to cut. It flexes a lot, so you would think like, oh, it's really rigid, but it's really not. You could flex it, but then it snaps and breaks, so it's almost delicate at the same time. So, you know, definitely working with it. The hardest thing is cutting it, but you know, for what our application was, is we're going to be trimming out the windows and stuff, and we have timbers that it slides behind. So, you know, scoring with a knife and on a square and snapping it off, that's how you're supposed to do it, but you know, we're basically concealing that edge just about everywhere. So, works great in application. They do make saws that have dust collectors for it, but you know, definitely a learning curve. And then, you know, we did the spacing with pennies, and you know, you'd be surprised the penny still has value. So that's kind of nice, and you know, kind of funny some of the jokes that went around.
A penny for your thoughts.
No, nobody said
Nobody
that.
said that one. Okay, what did they say?
I'll give you 2 cents.
You want 2 cents? Here's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it was funny, and then like all of a sudden pennies disappeared one day, and we're like, well, you know, I don't know, somebody probably just put them in their pocket and left the job site. Pennies are one of those things, you either have a lot of them or you have none of them.
And the pennies added a little bit of a detail. If you didn't add them, the fiber cement siding the joint was so close you could barely make out the differences. So and that is kind of the whole purpose of putting it up.
Still have primer to put on the cement board, and then we got to come over with the finished paint. So, you know, you put 2 layers of paint on there, and if you just sandwich them together, I don't know that you would even see a joint anymore.
So we did a lot of research on how you're supposed to actually attach fiber cement siding, but the deal is it's for exterior applications when you have high wind, and it has to be rated to like 100 miles an hour wind.
Well,
so,
here it does.
Yeah, so we don't have that issue inside. So we did just some testing on our own using 16 gauge nails, which have a little bit bigger head than an 18, and it's, you know, stayed on just fine. And everywhere it's pretty much either tucked behind a beam or it's getting covered with window trim on all of these exterior walls. So it will be held in by more than just nails. Yeah. So let's go take a look at how it turned out.
You can see that, you know, when it's all done and painted, it's going to look really, really nice. It does give a little bit of different character to a wall than just drywall, so it's kind of nice. Thermal mass, I think that was a selling point for her, but you know, I actually...
Oh, he got all giddy and excited. He's like, thermal mass. So here it is all done. I actually really love how it turned out, and I love the kind of the industrial natural look, but I don't think it's the right application in this house. So we're gonna paint it. I really want to lighten the space up, so it'll probably be like a light gray, grayish. Kids' rooms, we might do something a little bit more fun with it, but putting the siding up on all the interior walls was a huge, huge risk, and it's really hard to make that decision. But we're glad that we did it, and I think it's going to look beautiful once we get paint on it.
You know, we're one step closer to having this. I mean, that's a finished wall besides paint, so kind of nice.
So the upstairs is pretty much done. We've got the drywall on, the ceilings are already finished with the tongue groove and the timber frame. The exterior is the wall planking, the green board in the bathroom. All we really have to do is the stair wall, and that goes up 3 stories. So I want to do something kind of cool there, and we're going to go ahead and work on that next week.
So thanks for following along, and we'll see you next week.